Three, two, one. Yeah, are we live yet? Okay, we're live. All right. Hello, everybody. So yes, if you're joining me right now, or if you're watching on the replay, your eyes do not deceive you. This is the Ambw comeback tour. So we started out by dropping some old content, which some of you haven't seen before, but tonight we're here with some new content. And so, and I believe this might actually be the first time. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I'm correct. The first time that we're doing a live interview with the quote unquote AMBW couple. We've done couples tags before. A lot of those were pre-recorded. I think one of them was live. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Long time since I've done any of this. But we're back. As the title of this interview suggests, we're back and we're not going anywhere. So okay. So enough about me. So we are joined today by two very special guests, Miss Tonya and Robert. Thank you both for joining me. And again, I apologize for the time confusion, but welcome to the AMBW channel.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Excellent. So this being the AMBW channel, obviously, the title it goes out saying that we like to talk about all things that are AMBW related. And, it's been a very interesting, if not kind of disappointing week for me, but I am glad that we have, that we are ramping up the content again. And so I just want to get right into it. So, how did you guys meet and how long have you been together?
Well, we met actually on Tinder. And 3 days ago made a year.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's pretty good.
So
That's excellent.
Met on there. We met and ain't been apart since.
That's great. And I honestly feel like, for me, because, in the past, I'm not going to say how recent, but in the past, I've had, what do you say, difficulty when it comes to dating, when it comes to long distance dating. And I feel like part of the problem with that is like the communication, especially when in person, is kind of strained. But definitely for you guys, it seems like that's not the case, and long distance is not the case either. And I've been telling a lot of people on the channel recently that, to maintain any sort of relationship, communication is very important. It's totally key to any successful relationship. But for you guys, how was it first, when you guys started going out? Like, was it, just how was it?
Well, at first, it was, we do the friendship thing of, talking, getting to know each other. And it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, what, clicked basically?
Yeah. And
once we clicked, we still getting to know each other and learning more and more about each other. We've had our ups and downs, but mainly more ups than anything. And it's been good. It's been good. He's literally like the opposite. Well, not the direct opposite of me, but we kind of, I don't know how
we kind of more or less level each other out.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's having a bad day, I do what I can to just put even a little smile on her face. And, that's probably the most important thing is, being able to pick up on when your partner's having a bad day or if they're unhappy about certain situations. Because, if somebody's unhappy about certain situations and you yourself, you can't tell, it can lead to a real bad day real fast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also want to point it out too that was one thing that I talked with, X or whatever, is I think and not just mine, but like a lot of people in general who split up with their partners. I feel like a lot of maybe what drives a lot of couples apart is the fact that maybe it seems like one person, is expecting the other person to kind of react to how they feel or like kind of know what they're thinking. And I feel like that's kind of like, okay, so that might kind of seem like a loaded statement. But like in general, it kind of seems like with you guys, like the chemistry was so natural right? And like the communication and like yeah, just like I said, the chemistry was so on point that it's almost like you could kind of, finish each other's sentences. You know what I mean? Like you had a lot in common or whatever. You could kind of, tell where the conversation was going, et cetera, and stuff like that. And I think that's really, really good. That's really refreshing. You know what I mean? To see that. Yeah. So for you, sir, I have a question. So I
Yeah.
detect a Southern accent. Um, and I don't want to seem ignorant. Okay, I don't want to seem ignorant, but I'm from LA, born and raised in LA, so I'm a city boy, and I've lived in the Midwest for like 3 months, and then I was out of there. It just wasn't for me. But the thing about me is that, right, like I don't disrespect any part, right? I think, and accents for me, I love accents. So I had to say this, so it's gonna sound really really effing ignorant. So I apologize. Please don't get it twisted. It's not disrespect in any way, but I have not met that many Asian people with a Southern accent. I haven't.
Well,
And the other day, I met an Asian person with a British accent, and I know that makes me sound even more ignorant, but that was really cool too. So this is like another thing I get to cross off my bucket list. It's like, wow, I met an Asian person with a Southern accent. As you can tell, I probably don't get out very much. It's true. But
I mean,
where are you from, sir?
I was born and raised on all the way up to I was 12 on the East Coast, but I've been in Texas since I was 12, and I'm over 40 now. So this is really all I know.
Awesome, man. And I mean, like in general, I'm sure, because yeah, no, that's great, man. That's great. I have only been to Texas like one time. That was literally driving through it because I was on my way back from living in Ohio, and I just like, kind of moved back to Cali. So I drove through Texas, and I think I stopped at like a cafe one time because I was trying to surprise my friend in college who worked there. He wasn't there. But I remember driving through. There was a lot of land, a lot of empty patches of land. I was like, okay, this is there's no radio stations. There's nothing. I was like, I really should have burned a CD or something like that. There's no
How long?
reception on my phone
Yeah.
either.
A whole
Yeah,
dang time.
exactly. And then I also, okay, so I have a question for both of you also. So prior to meeting each other, did you have any sort of experience dating, like an Asian guy or a black woman before? Had you dated outside your race before?
Me personally, I have. Uh, I was married once before, and ever since her, I've dated nothing but women of other races, uh, black women specifically. I mean, I have my preference, and that's just what it is.
I have also dated outside my race. I've dated other nationalities, but I have no issue with it. And for me, it is a learning experience for anybody. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, I mean, yeah, and absolutely, and I think that's great. And not only do I, support that because that's obviously, the name of the channel, but like that's, me personally, I have experience, growing up and still living here in Cali in LA. It's a melting pot out here. It's the most, you know, as far as cities I've been in, it's one of the most, if not the most diverse city in the world, or most, you know, like most diverse state in the world, other than maybe New York and parts of Texas and Florida. Um, so it's just growing up here is very common practice just to date quote unquote outside your race. But even growing up, it wasn't called dating outside your race; it was called dating. It was just
Yeah.
normal. Um, However, I do want to point this out, though. It's kind of interesting, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it, too. But like I just said, growing up, it wasn't something that you thought of. You know what I mean? Like you might have maybe kind of at one time maybe did like a double take or double look, but then it just became kind of common, common practice after that. It was just normal, right? Nobody really said anything. And I feel like that was sort of more common as I was younger, when I was going up through middle school and high school, and then in college. That like for me personally, not to make this interview about me or whatever, but like for me, when I went to college, like that was the first time that I realized, oh shit, I'm Asian. You know what I mean? Because I went to a primarily non-Asian college. I went to ASU, Arizona State, and so it was mostly white. There was some black people, some Hispanics, but not a whole lot of Asian. We were definitely the minority there. And so there it really sort of opened my eyes to, oh shit, kind of had like an Adam and Eve kind of effect. It was like on like interracial dating, like wow, I hadn't really thought of it in those kind of that kind of context before. And then after that, like I don't know how many years later, it's been so many years I graduated, but now it's like yeah, interracial dating, at least here, it seems like something that people like to put a lot in, like they kind of like to phrase it in kind of like quotation marks, basically. It kind of becomes more, like stand outish. Like people like to sort of put it on a platform pedestal and kind of separate or whatever. Like, what were your thoughts? Like for you guys, growing up and stuff like that. Like, was that something that was natural to you? Was that something that you really thought about? And now, like, I just not to get too personal, but like, have you, like as adults or whatever in your relationship, your marriage, or whatever, like, have you encountered like any sort of negativity or kind of random remarks or anything like that, or comments about your relationship?
It's probably not so much the remarks,
It's
but
more of the looks,
the looks,
the double takes,
uh,
and the straight staring.
I mean, a lot of people when they first see me, they automatically, I think he's Hispanic, but then they realize that, oh man, he's not Hispanic. So I mean, we actually got a good compliment the other day. We was walking into Walmart over here. This lady stopped us and she was like, y'all are a beautiful couple. Y'all holding hands. This is the way a relationship should be. And it just kind of makes you step back and think like, how many, irregardless of race or whatever it may be, how many messed up relationships are there in the world where there's no affection going back and forth between people. We're all the way down here in Texas, where I've grew up here since I was 12. And this is literally, with all the people coming in and going out around this area, this has literally became a melting pot of different ethnicities, people that are mixed, whether it be Black, Korean, white Korean, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Dominican. It doesn't make a difference. It's all here. So no matter what you do within this area itself, you're going to run into other races, and it's never around here. It's never just one specific race.
I know for me, growing up, I really didn't see a lot of interracial couples growing up, but once I joined the military, I've seen a lot of them. When I started dating, I would get the looks, I get the rude comments, I get the questions and everything like that. And I kind of just got to the point to where I was like, you know what? I'm doing this for me. I don't care what anybody else thinks. They're going to have their opinions. They're going to say what they want to say. That's on them. If they didn't grow up knowing that you can love somebody else besides somebody of your own race, then that's their issue. But for me, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to love who I'm going to love. Your opinion does not matter on that.
That's very good. That's awesome, and I think you guys definitely have a great outlook and handle on that in your relationship. And again, congratulations, it's awesome. I just, it's interesting because I also dated a girl in the military, or a former girl in the military, a veteran. There you go. And so she would tell me a lot about sort of like her stories like overseas and whatnot, and especially sort of how black women, and also sort of how black men reacted to her overseas, as well as sort of all the different comments and thoughts and discussions that she heard regarding sort of men and women, and sort of like objectifying and like fetishizing each other and whatnot. It's very, I mean, she heard a lot apparently. But yeah, it's very, like I said, like regardless of objectifying or like having a fetish or whatever, like everyone. I mean, I'm not going to go into the whole my thoughts on how everyone fetishizes the fuck out of Asian women. But everyone does it. Everyone does it to like literally everybody out there with a heartbeat. It's like everybody is objectified to some degree, I feel like. However, with you guys, I feel like that is not the case, and I think that is definitely that's a beautiful thing. It's a very natural thing. So congratulations on that. I feel like that's something that a lot of people do want and do strive for, but they are not necessarily lucky to have that. They don't always find that. So okay, so Another question I had was, sort of, obviously this again, it's a very straightforward title of this channel, the AMBW channel. Literally couldn't be more straightforward than that. But that's sort of like on a very surface level. People might think, okay, that's something that, this channel is mostly about, what I just talked about. Sort of just, like putting, like having fetishes or like, objectifying or, you know what I mean? Like glorifying, I don't know, like K-pop or, you know what I mean? Black women and stuff like that. Like, I don't want people to get that idea about this channel. Well, no, and that's not why I'm saying it. That's not why I'm saying it. Please don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like I said, like I think on a superficial quote surface level, that's what so a lot of people might think. But what I would hope people to come to this channel is to ultimately, if they are looking for it, want something that is very similar to what you guys have. You know what I mean? Which is just genuine, real love for each other. And I have a lot of thoughts on how Asian men and Black women are perceived by others, especially by the media and whatnot. Let's just say it's not very positive. But okay, so sorry, so I've been sort of going off tangent a little bit. Basically, my question is to you guys is why should, and this is not like a loaded question at all. I want like an honest, not superficial answer. Just like you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. Why should men, when they come to this channel, assuming they have an interest in dating Black women, why should Asian men want to date Black women? And on the like opposite of that, why should Black women, give Asian men a chance?
Well, I mean, I honestly couldn't say that one should date the other. Because that's just one of them things. I can't say that one. It's just my preference. It's not what does it for me. It's what I found that I mesh better with. So for me to say that a Black woman should give an Asian guy a chance, I mean, any woman should give any guy a chance, regardless of the race or what they look like, as long as you guys have that connection. Without that connection, I mean, stuff is doomed. It's going to fail.
Pretty much. And basically, it's the same way for women. If doesn't matter what race you are, if you have that connection, good for you. But if you are, looking to date an Asian man, find somebody with the same connection as you, that has that connection for you, that sees you as a person, not as a Black woman or just, someone they fetishize. Someone genuinely that they want to be interested in talking to, getting to know. Like, you have to have that communication first off. Like, if the Black woman is interested in dating the Asian guy and the Asian guy is interested in dating the Black woman, it should be other than the color of your skin. You have to have that connection on some level of knowing what that person wants, what they're looking for, and what you want and what you're looking for. And if y'all are on the same level, go from there. So it's just basically knowing what each other's want. And if that is your preference, by all means, go with it. But knowing the other person, getting all the signals, getting all the red flags and all that stuff, just know what you are looking for if you are deciding to date from either side.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a very honest answer, and I really do appreciate that. It's also, like I've been saying, is Asian men are just guys, just normal guys. Same with Black women. You know what I mean? It really, yes, okay, to some degree. I'm not gonna, want to cut right through the bullshit. Like, yes, attraction does matter. Physical attraction does matter, of course. You know what I mean? I'd be lying out of my freaking ass if I said no, right? But here's the thing, though, too, is that that's what makes dating extra hard. Is that it doesn't end there. You have to get to know the person. You give someone a fair chance, and hopefully there aren't that many red flags that pop up, and you know what I mean. Attraction forms and chemistry and all that stuff. You spend more time with each other, and it's a fun process, but it's also very kind of, it can be yeah, exactly. It can be difficult and it can be disappointing, it can be often disappointing. Thankfully for you guys, it didn't end that way. So, and like I said, it's because it's been kind of on my mind, breakups and stuff recently. But I feel like, okay, here's the thing, and I have a question too. When in today's age of like I don't know, like social media, social distancing, and even like long distance stuff, right? Like texting and calling and all that stuff. And we all have lives. I'm not gonna lie. We all have lives. We all get busy and stuff like that. We all work. We have obligations to ourselves, and sometimes we just want to be to ourselves. But and it's a question that I'm gonna start asking people a lot more when I do interviews from now on. Is that like both of you? I can get like individual responses. Like, how important is communication? Right, like all the way through from like getting to know someone to like being in like an actual serious relationship with someone. How important is it, and how important is it in terms of maintaining that bond with the other person?
I'll let you go.
It's very important because without it, if you're striving to have a full relationship, it's not going to get there without it. It's very important, as he said earlier, knowing that person's mood and everything like that, picking up on the mannerisms and stuff like that. Communication is key in any form. And to be honest, I'm still learning. I'm doing a lot better than what I was before, but stop laughing. But communication in any aspect is important, and all the way through, completely through. You have to be transparent with your partner, because if not, it's not going to work, like, at all. So you have to want to open up and get to know more about each other as far as communication go, and work on it. Just fully work on it.
Without that good communication in a relationship, you don't know the do's and don'ts, and what you can and can't do. Just because during the course of a relationship a couple red flags pop up doesn't mean that you should get everything and run. At that point you have to make the decision on whether you want to pursue that and have that discussion with your partner, about what's going on, or and from there make the decision to try to pursue that relationship. With us, it's always been good conversation. I can tell if something's on her mind just by little indications. If she's chewing her cheek, or if she's twiddling her thumbs, or whatever it may be, I pick up on those little things with her, and she may not notice at the time that she's doing it, but it's all a part of our communication process, having the long conversations, staying up at night, even if you have a little spat, a little argument, not going to sleep angry. I mean, because you don't want that stuff to roll over to the next day. When you wake up, you don't want to go to sleep with it on your mind. When you do go to sleep with stuff like that on your mind, you start to harbor a little bit of hate, and no matter what people say, and that, that's just my opinion. When you go to sleep angry, you develop that little bit of hate, and that little bit of hate, once you do it more than once, it starts to snowball out of control. And just being able to sit down and have a good heartfelt conversation with somebody and learn them, like I have heard, many years ago, many years ago, we had to admit, but that was a totally different time and a totally different place. But the way it is right now, our communication's been real good. At first, it may not have been as good as what it is now, but our ability to go ahead and open up and let each other know what we're going through and what we're thinking about, that's really is what made the relationship what it is. If anybody's not able to do that, I honestly think that the relationship will fail itself.
Yeah. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. I completely agree. With everything you just said. I kind of wish that more people thought that way. But because like you said, it would definitely be beneficial to every single relationship. And me personally, I have to chime in. I have to say that I think it's also a lot to do with, like emotional maturity as well. I feel like maybe age plays a part in that. Age sort of affects emotional maturity as well, and also experience too. I feel like it's for me, because I'm 35 now. So, but like when I was in my 20s, trying to date, put myself out there and trying to date in the real world for the first time, outside of school, it was tough because I've been on a lot of dates, a lot more than I care to talk about, but like a lot. And I've definitely learned a lot too. Thankfully, I feel like that's like the most underrated thing about dating is like learning, and maturing your experiences in both the mistakes that you make and the mistakes that the other person makes too. You can learn from everything. But I feel like when I was in my 20s, communication was so it was kind of like lackadaisical. Like it was just like people didn't take it seriously, you know. And I feel like the older you get, like people do realize, that communication, you need to communicate. You know what I mean? Like you can't literally read the other person's mind, and you can't get mad at the other person for not being able to do it either. So like, what's a good substitute for not being able to read people's minds? Oh, talk about shit, you know. And I've encountered that surprisingly. My last ex was like older than me. There were a lot of problems there, but basically communication. That's why I sort of I don't harbor animosity towards that. I just realized that you can still be learning at any age and be kind of immature at any age really. But anyway, so I'm not trying to get back into that.
But
Um,
how many people do you know from high school that got married straight out of high school and are still married right now?
hmm,
They didn't make that long-term connection or that long-term commitment and last up to this point and not get divorced without any kind of good communication. I mean, think about how many marriages or relationships have lasted 1 to 2 months, a year, get married, and it only lasts 6 months after they get married. Poor communication. That just goes to show it right there. Communication is key.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It absolutely is. Um, and that's one thing that I feel like me personally, I also have a lot of areas to improve upon, and some things I learned from my last relationship and need to do better or whatever. And I feel like that's again, you know, um, yeah, I want to let you guys go because I know it's later over there. And again, I'm thankful for you guys taking up the time, taking the time to sit down and talk with me today. I think it's entertaining. A lot of people love seeing AMBW couples. They just do. They love from a superficial aspect. They love the aesthetic of that, and that's fine. That's great. I think that's wonderful. But I also feel like coming to this channel going forward, I would love to, and everyone watching this on the replay or live right now, whatever, like view this not only as entertainment. View this as not only a way for you to have background noise playing in the background or whatever, but to learn also. Learn from this couple and what they're saying, and learn from what I'm saying and stuff. And relationships aren't just all PDA and they aren't just all cuddling and shit like that. They're arguments. You know what I mean? There's hard parts too. There's ups and downs. There's a lot of shitty moments in it. But what I feel like, I see between you guys is genuine love for each other. And I think that is so underrated. I feel like it's easier to get laid than it is to find love. And I feel like you guys have found love, which is awesome. I congratulate you both again. I know I don't know you guys, so I'm not trying to make this weird or anything like that. But again, just know that you guys are welcome to come back on this channel anytime you would like. Again, thank you very much for spending the time to speak with us. Everyone watching at home, if you are in, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, for sure. And if you are watching at home right now and you would also like to be interviewed by me on this channel, hit me up. I'll include my email in the address down below. Again, thank you, Tonya and Robert. I wish you guys well. And like I said, you guys want to come back anytime, you're more than welcome to. Everyone watching at home, I haven't said this in a while, but like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button, smash the notification bell so you can get notified every time I do this stuff. You guys have a good night. Everyone watching at night, see you guys, and see you guys next video. Yeah, and peace out.